Hi, this is Shaylee and this is my YouTube channel AI Economics. I'm a professor of artificial intelligence and I teach AI concepts to business management students. I decode complex concepts which are AI concepts and I try and decode them for their business application. If you're interested in this kind of content, please do consider subscribing. In today's sequence of videos, I'm going to be talking about how business folks, that is project managers, marketing managers, brand managers, etc., who can actually use generative AI models to automate or to enhance the value of their business processes. Now, this is a complex topic and there are a lot of videos already available on YouTube which sort of claim that you can literally make a no-code chatbot, for example. However, when I went in there and I tried to check out these videos, I found that they were rather complex, that there were always things one got stuck on because it was just kind of assumed that you knew a lot of stuff. And hence, it was not really geared for someone with, say, a very rudimentary understanding of Python. So in this sequence of videos, if you have a basic understanding, really basic understanding of Python, where you know what is a Jupyter notebook, for example, and how to run a little bit of simple code, then I think I can guarantee you that you can start developing your applications. I am going to go through the whole entire end-to-end process of these developing an application step by step. We'll begin with the basics of what are the models, how do you use them, and what are the ways of using them, what are the applications, what is the structure of an application, and then going on to the actual coding tutorials. Don't worry, this is a long sequence. The first video is just a short introduction to this area, including what are these models, how can you use them, and what are the typical types of applications. So what can you build with generative AI models like ChatGPT? There are a lot of Gen AI models available now. Some are free and others are paid. How can we use these models impactfully in a business environment is a key question that a lot of people ask. Yes, we are all using ChatGPT in some fashion or the other to draft emails, to generate marketing content or whatever it is. However, how do we meaningfully literally change the nature of our business by using these applications? These are actually difficult questions that a lot of very large corporate organizations are also grappling with. So in today's video, I'm just answering the following questions. What are these models? What can I usefully use them for? Where can I use these models off the shelf and what needs coding? And how can I integrate these models in my business process? Now, in terms of types of models, at a very, very high level, there are two types. One is closed source and the other is open source. Closed source is basically where your underlying code and all the architecture of the model, etc., is not made available to the public. Companies control and restrict access to the model, and they often require you to buy licenses or subscriptions. Closed source models include, of course, ChatGPT, paid version, Anthropic's Claude paid version, and Gemini paid version. These companies typically do also have a slightly lower end model, which is an open source, which is open access model. However, it is not open source, to be clear. Open source models are models where the code is made publicly available for anyone to use, modify, and distribute. It therefore is something which promotes collaboration and transparency. These models are typically developed by a large and distributed community of developers. Open source models can also be developed by large corporates, for example, the Meta Llama series. Stability AI stable diffusion models, which are the image creating models, and Huggingface, which is a major platform for repository for all kinds of different models, also has its own open source model called Bloom. More recently, Nividia has also released its models as open source. Now, the second thing is, how do you access these models? Now, there are three broad ways in which we can access them. The first is the good old chat window, which we are all used to. Now, this is a very user-friendly, low-code aspect. There's no coding. However, and it is very user-friendly. And no matter how much people talk about prompt engineering, it does not really give you very standardized outputs. There is limited scope for customizability, and it is really not suitable for complex integrate applications that have to be integrated forward into other applications. So this is great for when you're sitting down and working at it at a personal level. The second approach is API, or application programming interface. This is the most popular methodology by which these models, large language models, are being utilized by corporate organizations, and this method offers a lot of flexibility and control for custom applications. It is also suitable for scaling and embedding a model in a particular business application. However, on the con side, it requires a lot of coding. It requires a large coding team and a lot of coding. The API can also be costly if it's used for an application which is going to go out to a very huge number of people. It can also start to become expensive. The third option is what is known as local deployment. This is basically the case where we run a particular model on our on-prem servers. That is to say, the company has its own server on which it runs it. This applies primarily to open source models. Mainly, this option offers full control and privacy and customization. So in many ways, this is the option that corporates would like. There are also no third-party dependencies. However, it is associated with significant computational resource, so companies have to build up huge data centers for this, and both the setup and the maintenance is highly complex and requires a very advanced team. I might also add that both the API option can be used by both open source models as well as closed source models. Local deployment typically tends to be more geared towards open source models. The chat window option is primarily a closed source option. However, if you have a little bit of programming capabilities, you can definitely use an open source model and carry out a chat as well. Now, coming to what are some expected applications of generative AI models. The sky is the limit, or as many business processes. We can expect AI to be deployed in almost any business process, maybe not end to end, but for some steps definitely, which can be automated. However, we can break up the kind of applications into three broad buckets. The first is what we call content creation. This consists of things like creation, for example, marketing content, emails, drafting social media posts, etc. The second thing, and which is likely to be the biggest application and the game changer applications, at least in the initial phases of the application, is definitely going to be chatbots and virtual assistants. Just imagine having a chatbot which can fully understand your customers' queries and can actually, to a large extent, troubleshoot them and resolve them. This is something which is nothing short of amazing. And, if it's happening at 12 p.m. at night when your team and the entire call center is sleeping, it is an immense and incredible value add. So this is really going to be a game changer, at least initially. The third application is personalized marketing. This is basically, being a holy grail of marketing, so to speak, where we want to develop customized emails, customized web content and offer them to customers as and when they need or search for a particular product or service. With these generative AI models, we will now be able to generate automated content, and this is looking far more achievable. All right, so in this video, I'll stop here because in this video, I basically just wanted to high level introduce to you what are the concepts, what are the types of models, how can you access them, and what are the really broad buckets of applications. If you like this kind of content, please do consider giving this video a like, and also subscribe to my channel AI Economics.